Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and I make weekly videos on art, upcycling, and DIYs, so if that interests you, make sure you subscribe. This video I'll be showing you my budget bedroom renovation, which I filmed last September before I started my YouTube. There were a lot of things that I didn't like about my bedroom, but the main problem was that my boyfriend moved in and a queen-size bed wasn't cutting it anymore, so I figured if we were gonna replace the bed, we might as well redo the whole room. I wanted the room to feel luxurious and like a hotel because the rest of my house is super bright and chaotic. We've been using this room for about a year now and we absolutely love it, and I hope you enjoy watching the process. So welcome to my bedroom. As I said, it's not bad, but it's also not great. I feel like the colors are a little bit childish, especially with this rug, which was great when I first moved in. This bed frame I actually really love, but it's a queen and it is just not big enough for us. I feel like the art is a little bit too small and I don't like how the TV stands out so starkly against those white walls. I also don't like this white IKEA desk that I inherited when my boyfriend moved in, along with his little accessories, which unfortunately have to go. They're not welcome here. I actually got this dresser just a few weeks before I filmed this video. It was, I think, around $40 at an estate sale, and it's mid-century modern. I also have this light fixture from IKEA, which is just kind of distracting, and all of it together is just really bland and again feels a little bit immature and is in great need of a change. First thing on my list was finding a bed frame on Facebook Marketplace. Thankfully, I found this one for $25, which was a steal. It matches my dresser really well, so we loaded it up in the car and took it home. Now that I have two mid-century style pieces of furniture, this white desk feels too modern and stands out. Actually, when my boyfriend got this desk and gave it to me when he moved in, or brought it with him when he moved in, all of the gold edges were bright pink. So even this is a better version of what it originally was. So I got this wood vinyl on Amazon and I used this Windex technique that I saw on TikTok. You know, I can't say I was a huge fan of it. I don't think it was really necessary, but I did try it out. It's supposed to allow you to move it a little bit, but I just found that it made stuff a little bit messier than I would have liked. I used a squeegee to get out all of the air bubbles, and I did stick it and unstick it a few times. I am not good at this. Let me tell you, this is not my strong suit whatsoever. I'm not really great at anything that requires you to be super specific, but honestly, the desk turned out fine. It's really not that bad looking, despite my inability to measure stuff correctly. It wasn't quite long enough the first time I wrapped it, so I had to add a little about 2-inch section along the back of the desk, which really isn't very noticeable, especially when you have everything on top of the desk. It blends in pretty well. To cut off all the ends and to cut around the circle, I'm just using a box cutter, but you can also use an X-Acto knife, and this was a great way to make sure the ends were nice and flush. And then I proceeded to wrap the rest of the desk. This was not a fun process at all for me, and I hope I never have to wrap anything else with vinyl ever again. The next thing I did was go to Home Depot and I immediately beelined for the discount section of the paint and got 2 things of paint. Both of my paint were discounted, this nice blue color, and then I also got a beigey color. Both of them were $9, which was a total steal, and they were both kind of the colors that I was looking for. Now, I don't know if you can tell, I'm also not great at painting. Anything that's, you know, methodical, just not my thing. Lots of paint texture, but once it dried, it wasn't too bad. So I did all the edges first. At first, eventually I quit on the edges because I got impatient, but here I am being a good girl and actually doing the edges, and this is probably the first time I've ever removed the light socket as I've painted, because normally I just kind of paint around it. So here I am not doing the edges. What can you do? You can only do so much. So the wall behind my bed is going to be dark blue, and then the wall across from it where the TV is also going to be dark blue. We have that kind of situation going on in our living room with a dark blue wall and our TV on it, and it's so nice because there isn't that stark contrast, so it ended up being perfect. Once I finished painting and I still had my paint rollers wet, I grabbed these old canvases that I had from my old painting studio that I used to have. They're kind of beaten up. The large one has like a giant hole in it, and while I still had that paint wet, I took my roller and just covered the whole thing, so I knew I would have some of the colors that are already on the wall on the canvas, so they would all kind of go together. I also grabbed some white paint that I had and rolled that on top as well to lighten it up and make it not so exactly that beige color. Next, I grabbed some joint compound because I need to figure out a way to cover up the giant hole that's in this canvas, so I thought I would add some texture to it. I'm using, I think, like a tile scraper texture creator thing. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it certainly created some nice texture in this painting. Once I did that, I wanted to add some contrast, so I grabbed my black paint and I did a few abstract lines in black paint. We're going for hotel art, not anything that's supposed to be riveting or change your mind. It's just kind of supposed to blend into the background. This one is kind of a line art piece that I ended up adding more white to, and I really love the texture of this one and how it came out. And I wanted it to be framed, so I actually took some old frames and cut them up. They were 16 by 20 frames. I cut them up and I glued them together and added some wood filler, painted that black, and that will be my frame that I'll show you later. Next up, I wanted to fix the lighting situation. This IKEA light had to go. It ended up in my hallway and I swapped it out for this recessed light from Costco. I think it's way more elegant and isn't as distracting. I also wanted to make some matching sconces for our nightstands, so I took some stained glass and I kind of made this box that's supposed to be a light. You'll see what it looks like in the end, but I had already assembled some of the panels and then I just took some copper foil. This is standard stained glass stuff. I added a little bit of flux and then I used some lead solder to attach everything together, and this is going to be a little box that will sit on our nightstand and be a sconce. The last thing I did was sell that old rug on Facebook Marketplace, and I got this new rug for $15 on Facebook Marketplace. Benny had to inspect it, but he thought it looked so much better and more mature. It is finally time for the reveal. Just a reminder, this is what our bedroom looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. I definitely think I nailed the hotel vibes, and it feels so much more mature. I am such a huge fan of being super matchy-matchy, so I think everything matches really well. It's got like such a strong color palette, and I love this new rug. It's like my favorite type of style. I love how the art turned out. I could totally see this in a hotel room. Like, this is hotel art. I also actually made that pillow that you're seeing out of some fabric that our bed actually came wrapped in. And then here is the frame, my Frankenstein frame that turned out super well and you could never even tell. I'm so happy I made this back wall dark. It's so nice while we're watching TV, and then at night it's also really dark as well. Even though it doesn't match perfectly, I'm still really happy with how this desk turned out, and I even included some of my boyfriend's decorations. I promise I'm not heartless. And of course, the best part of the room is Benny's bed, which he absolutely loves. 10 out of 10. Finally, we have the stained glass sconces, which I think turned out so beautiful, both on and off. They give the room a really cozy feel, and I think they tie everything together. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and happy making.